Greetings, apprentices, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Arlin, and today I'm going to be giving you guys 50 plus book recommendations for you to read this fall. Okay, so the first book I'm going to recommend to you is whatever is on top. Oh, Howl's Moving Castle. This is super popular. If you haven't read it, you probably watched the movie. And if you haven't watched the movie, I don't even know what to say. It's so good. It's so good. This whole book slash movie is just giving fall vibes. It's about this girl named Sophie who works at like a hat shop, and some powerful witch comes and turns her into an old lady, and she meets somebody who's a wizard who is supposedly really good looking and like breaks girls' hearts or something. Their banter is just what just fell. No! My fall decor. I guess there's a little bit of love. There's honestly, it's not really love. This whole book is just a vibe. Go read it. The next book I'm going to recommend to you is Northanger Abbey. Northanger Abbey is not one of her most famous works, I would say. I rated this 4 stars. It was really good. This specific book, like, I would not necessarily recommend getting this specific book. The font is so tiny. There's so many words on this page. It was kind of hard to get through, and just because of the layout, but the actual book was delectable. If you don't know this already, Jane Austen is the master of making things so funny and humorous, even though like her books are romances, right? But oh no, they're kind of not. They're also, well, they are, but they're like also like comedies. Next book is, oh, this is a good one, Legend by Marie Lu. So the reason I would recommend this for the fall is because it's a dystopian, and everyone knows that you should read dystopians either in the fall or the winter. Book 2, Prodigy, even better. And I have yet to read the 3rd book, but I'm super excited to. The Legend series by Marie Lu. Please read this. Okay. Next up we have Harry Potter. Do I need to say anything more? I love Harry Potter. You don't have to like Harry Potter, but if you haven't read it or watched it and you want to give it a shot, now is your chance, because this starts at the beginning of the school year in fall, and then it just continues to go on throughout winter. You have the snowy scenes and just like the hats. So aesthetic. I really want one of those. I'm a Slytherin, by the way. Comment down below your Hogwarts house because I'm really curious. Next up we have Pride and Prejudice by the one, the only, Jane Austen again, the first reoccurring author on this video. As you can see, I started annotating this because I only made it halfway through. And this is not to say that it's a horrible book. It's actually so good. And I'm not one for classics. I'm waiting to watch the movie until I finish reading this. I didn't want to watch the movie so bad. This is a fall vibe. But next up we have the Inheritance Games series. It's about a girl named Avery Grams who basically one day, she's just a normal girl, right, who finds out she inherited $46.2 billion. An old man died, and in the will it said it went to her, but she didn't know him, and he didn't know her, or do they know each other somehow? That's kind of like the mystery we're trying to find out. And the brothers that were supposed to inherit that didn't get it. So they're mad, and they're also trying to do the puzzle with her. And yes, there's like a love triangle. So you'll love to see it. The last book we have on this side of the shenanigan. Whoa. That was so funny. Speaking of like mystery books, hello? Did someone call Mr. Sherlock? You might be wondering why I'm recommending this book to you if I've literally gotten this far. It's super daunting. Someone call Adele, because hello? I read like the first 30 pages of this, and it's actually, like, I actually have been enjoying it somehow. Oh, I actually got to page 34. But yeah, it's actually legitimately super good. We have the next pile here. What is this? Oh, I can tell what this is. Yep, Keeper of Lost Cities. Keeper of Lost Cities has 10 books in it. The books are pretty big, however, the words in the middle are like kind of small. This is a middle grade book series, and it's a fantasy about this girl named Sophie Foster who basically finds out she's a telepath. Just go read this. I don't care if you want to read it now or tomorrow. Choose your fight. Next up, okay, the leaf fell. My water fell. Dude, what is happening? Dude, look at this leaf. Okay, bro, what? Leaves aren't meant to fall. So, the next book I'm going to recommend to you, a 5-star read, And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. The world's best-selling mystery Need I say more? If you like mysteries, it's not that long of a book. This was actually the first book that I read in one sitting without stopping. It was delicious and nutritious. Next one we have is The Westing Game, which, let me tell you something right now. The Inheritance games completely copy this. It's pretty short, however it gets the point across, and it's pretty much the Inheritance games, but maybe for like a slightly younger audience. A bizarre chain of events begins when 16 unlikely people gather for the reading of Samuel L. Westing's will. And though no one knows why, the eccentric game-loving millionaire has chosen a virtual stranger and a possible murderer to inherit his vast fortune. One thing's for sure, Sam Westing may be dead, but that won't stop him from playing one last game. So in this one, it's basically the only difference is instead of competing for, not really competing, but instead of billions of dollars, it's millions of dollars. And there's a murderer. Next up, we have the Gouda cheese sandwich. Not really. This is the Fablehaven book series, which is a 5-book series. The only reason I'm recommending this is pure vibes. When I think of this, I do not think of summer. I think of fall. A middle grade book series about Kendra and Seth, who are siblings, and they go and stay with their grandparents for a little while and basically find out they're caretakers for a magical world named Fablehaven. I know some people who don't really like this book series, but I actually really like this. Transition. You have now entered the part of the video where I talk about my favorite book series of all time. My channel is literally named Apprentice Ranger. So this is a 12-book series. It's a medieval setting, and basically in the first book, when you turn 15, you get sorted as an apprentice into different sections. So a scribe, a diplomat, a knight. The main character Will wants to be a knight, but he gets chosen as something else, a ranger, which are the shadowy, sneaky people who like use bows and stuff. That's a horrible description. However, if you want to read the best book series of your life, read this, and let's go on to the next book. Disclaimer, this might not be the best book for you. However, it is the best book series for me. I almost had a heart attack. Okay, that was not intentional, but the next book we have is Heartless. The Ranger's Apprentice series is my favorite series of all time, but this might be my favorite book. Heartless by Marissa Meyer is a retelling of Alice in Wonderland. I didn't really like Alice in Wonderland when I watched it. I haven't read the books. After reading this, however, I love it. Not necessarily the movie, but I can never see Alice in Wonderland the same again. The next one we have is The Importance of Being an Artist. I wouldn't necessarily call this a book, per se. More like a piece of paper. And like I said, I'm not a classic person, but I read this on a car ride. It was so good. And I laughed out loud. That never happens. If you want to be in a good mood and laugh, have a good time, then you should read this book. The next book I'm going to recommend to you is Brother Band. This is the companion series to Ranger's Apprentice. This is a series that has, I think, like 8 or 9 books. However, I've only read the first one. My recommendation to you is to read it while listening to the Pirates of the Caribbean song, He's a Pirate, on repeat. You're dealing with ships and there's like a competition, and it's just so fun, especially if you're listening to that music. So there's a recommendation for you. And the last book we have, Fairest, which you can't really tell, by Gail Carson Levine, which is the same author who wrote Ella Enchanted, which if you want to read Ella Enchanted, this is also a super good book to read in the fall. However, I just feel like Fairest just encompasses fall more. Fairest is a retelling of Snow White. It is middle grade, however, it reminds me of YA because of the details in it, and like it just reminds me of YA. So if you think you're too old for this book, I would still read it because I read it like a few months ago and I actually really enjoyed it. So you might be wondering, where did the dust jacket go? Yeah, it was so ugly that I literally threw it away. So that's what happened there. Those are my fall book recommendations, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me just tell you something before you go. If you take one book out of this video, book recommendation, let it be Heartless. Okay, because you might not like it, and I can actually see how it would be boring to some people. However, if you like it as much as I do, you'll thank me. If you want to follow me on Goodreads, where I post what I'm reading and updates, link in the description. Thank you again for watching this video. Wait, hold on a second. There is one series I forgot to mention, The Hunger Games. Just one of my favorite book series of all time, one of everyone's favorite book series of all time. Anyway, I hope you have a really wonderful day, and I'll hopefully see you in my future videos. Bye! Bye! Don't ask me why I have this, but bye!